Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of anywhere else? And that's because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about the Jets, and Hassan Reddick recently said, I don't think people are ready, and the Jets are making moves, so to speak, and the question that people have been kind of talking about is like, who will the Jets be this season? Will they be good? Are they legit contenders? And I just wanted to say something real quick off the top in case one of these guys says it and I don't want them to and I want to beat them to it. I have not seen this clip. I don't think they will. But Nick Wright's whole argument about the Bears is that, when you get a good rookie quarterback, they are worth 3 wins, and I don't know if it was specifically to like the last place team or what, but, it's worth 3 wins. And that's why he's saying you can give the Bears at least 3 more wins and that they're going to be good and contenders and all this. Not necessarily like Super Bowl contenders, but, make it in the playoffs and be significantly better. And that's fine. I'm not disputing that. The Jets had 7 wins last season, okay? With Zach Wilson, who, if he wasn't, what was he, like the number 2 overall pick or whatever number he was? If he wasn't that, I'm not so sure he would even be in the league right now. Seriously, I'm really not so sure. He's definitely getting the benefit of the doubt that he was such a high draft pick, so people want to try to really see what he can do as much. But if he was, if he was Brock Purdy, if he was the last pick in the draft, I'm not so sure he would even be in the NFL right now. He's definitely not proven to be a starting quarterback, and I'm not so sure he's proven to be a second-string quarterback at this point. So to think that Aaron Rodgers isn't worth 3 wins is crazy to me. So they won 7 wins with Zach Wilson with 0 offensive production. You don't think that Aaron Rodgers can make that team have, 10 or 11 wins? Especially now that it's going to be probably a pretty easygoing schedule, relatively speaking. Come on now. The Jets, if they stay healthy, and all this conversation is the big if they stay healthy, they are legit. They will be legit. They will be contenders. Not a question or a doubt in my mind. Let's take a listen to see what these guys have to say, and we'll break it down further from there.
A successful season for the Jets.
Well, first of all, my goodness, Tyron Smith and now Reddick, I feel like, and I'm not saying they're totally wrong, I don't know, we'll see. They feel like they're getting MVP Aaron Rodgers. That's the attitude they're giving. Do you guys agree with that? Like they're talking like they feel like they're getting MVP Aaron Rodgers.
Horrible news for
And we'll see. We'll see. Right. I know you got your list. 300-yard games hadn't thrown. Here's a successful year. First of all, let's start with Aaron Rodgers. He plays all 17 games. All right. He throws fewer than 9 interceptions, or 9 or fewer interceptions.
Okay. Sure.
Single-digit interceptions.
That's another way to say it.
30-plus TDs.
Okay.
I need it. 30-plus TDs, all right? 4,000 yards, which isn't a ton anymore. It's like 230 yards a game. All right? That's all. If you play all 17 and throw for like 230, 235 or whatever, you get 4,000. Now,
you get over
that type of year,
he's like,
they make the playoffs.
Okay.
They win a game.
They win a game.
That's a successful year.
Okay,
That's pretty good.
Question, Brew. Why won't you hold the Jets to the same standard you hold the Cowboys?
Well,
Why
the
are they-
Cowboys won 12 games last year. The Jets won 7.
Right, but we don't care about regular season stuff, right?
The Jets you do.
Are the Jets
aren't S-Bob.
No. Really?
Well, then why don't you, Nick Wright, why don't we flip it back on you? Why don't you hold the Cowboys to the same standards? Why don't you hold Dak Prescott to the same standards that you hold to Brock Purdy or even a Josh Allen or any of those teams? So I don't even understand that argument in that regard, because the Dallas Cowboys have been acting like they are legit, that they are coming, that they can hang with anyone, that they are the best, that they are elite, and then they prove not to be. The Jets aren't acting like that. The Jets are like, we had no quarterback. We're a quarterback away. We need to go. Let's go get Aaron Rodgers. And they got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got injured. That changes the expectations and it delays things. It changes things because he's now older. Not only did he tear his Achilles, which I think he's going to make a recovery, but when you are older, you only have so many more years left, of course, of playing at an elite level. So I do think that if Aaron Rodgers did not tear his Achilles and played when he was, 38 or 39, whatever it ends up being, last season, essentially, that team would have been really, really great. They just would have been. If they won 7 games with Zach Wilson, how are you going to look me in the digital eyes and tell me that Aaron Rodgers isn't worth another 3 wins? I mean, it's just not true. I mean, they would have been fighting for the 1st or 2nd seed. Probably just the 2nd seed. That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
I mean, they like
wait
it
a
should be
minute.
great because your quarterback's 40.
Wait a second.
Your quarterback's
Hold on a
40.
second.
No.
Wait. Bro.
They haven't won a Super Bowl.
Wait.
I was 1 years old when they won a Super Bowl.
But they've been to multiple conference championship games more recently than the Cowboys. But set that aside.
That's just how bad the
all
Cowboys
of the justification of their offseason moves have been, it's this year. Who cares about Tyrone Sage? That if they're all in on this year, they are by definition SBOB. Their players, as you said, are talking like they're SBOB.
No, think they are.
And let me ask you this: who do you trust more, Dak or Aaron? You. Forget them. You, Chris Broussard.
Well, they both have their playoff issues.
Right. Who do you trust
But Dak has his playoff issues before the conference championship.
So who do you trust more?
Who do I trust in the regular season to win a Super Bowl?
For this coming year, who do you trust more, Dak or Aaron?
That's a tough one because I know Aaron. I haven't seen him in so long.
Right. Okay. So it seems like it's close. Whose defense do you like more, Brew?
I kind of like the Jets more.
The Jets,
yeah, the Jets.
More, exactly.
But they obviously playing in a tougher
Who
conference.
had the better offseason, bro?
You're trying to fence me in to say they're going to get to the Super Bowl? They have a tougher conference.
I know you're not going to predict the Super Bowl.
Here's what I'm saying,
I'm just saying I feel like it's a double standard.
But this is why. See, you guys still haven't gotten it. Maybe I need to look in the mirror. I haven't explained myself well. The Cowboys are not just SBOB because they do have some talent and won 12 games the last 3 years. They're SBOB because they are the Dallas Cowboys.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Every year they're SBOB because they're the Cowboys.
Right,
just like the Lakers. Every year
Exactly. And I don't know why they pretend to not acknowledge that. And I know I have a bunch of Dallas Cowboys fans here. I mean, you guys feel that. The Cowboys are supposed to be this iconic, the star on the helmet, right? It's this iconic brand, one of the biggest sports brands in the world, especially America. That's what it is. It is. The Cowboys are the Yankees and the Lakers, and that's who they are. So this idea that anything short of truly being competitive for a Super Bowl, it ends up really being a failure. Not to mention, at this point, since it's been such a delay of them actually even competing for an NFC championship, it actually builds that pressure up even more. Because if it's not next season, and it's not the next season after that, and the season after that, and the season after that, it's like, well, then what the heck? Because if you made it to an NFC championship game 3 years ago, for instance, and you lost, people would have been like, great season, but, definitely bummed, but it's all right, right? And then the second season, if they maybe made it to a Super Bowl or got back to the championship again, you would have been bummed, of course, especially if you're a fan, but you would have, understood it. But now that they haven't even made it to the NFC Championship game in the last 3 years, it's like making an NFC Championship in 2024, 2025 wouldn't be enough. It would not be enough because there's that buildup now of are you serious? You've been epic failures. You've been dropping the bag, the ball, the whatever for these last few years. You've done nothing in 30 years. You got to win now. This is not good enough. This is not good enough. So you kind of burned that kind of, at least it was a really good season card. The Jets have that embedded now, especially with Aaron's age, just like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay went all in with Tom Brady. If Tom Brady got there and only ended up winning a playoff game or two and didn't win a Super Bowl, which is definitely could have been possible, right? Then people wouldn't have seen that as an epic failure. They would have been bummed, especially if you're a Tampa Bay fan, but they would have said, look, Tom Brady had success. He played well. He got that team into the playoffs. They even won, a really tough game against, insert whatever team there, and it was really great. It just shows how great Tom Brady is. But, unfortunately, just, couldn't win the Super Bowl. And they wouldn't have held it against him. But I think with the injury now with Aaron, it's kind of now build it up a little bit more in a weird way, because it's kind of like this team's really great and Aaron got injured, and if only we got Aaron, it would be better. So it's like, but it's the expectations and the stakes are lower for the Jets relative to the Cowboys in that regard. The Cowboys, people are still talking about the Cowboys. They can't even talk about the Jets without talking about the Cowboys. You can be in any football discussion, and the Cowboys can easily be inserted into the conversation. Not unlike what we see, like, Undisputed and Skip and Shannon back in the old days, right? Every conversation, somehow LeBron James got snuck in or Tom Brady got snuck in. And it was obnoxious. It was annoying. That happens in a lot of conversations in football with the Dallas Cowboys, or right now, especially Patrick Mahomes, right? He finds his way in a lot of the casual conversations. You could be talking about the Eagles, you could be talking about the Falcons, and somehow Patrick Mahomes gets brought up in the conversation, or even Tom Brady still, and as well as the Cowboys. No one's talking about the Jets. You're never talking about the Texans, and you're like, yeah, and the Jets, like, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Why are you even using the Jets as a frame of reference in this conversation? So the expectations and the pressure for the Cowboys is so much higher, and that's why. So it's unfair for Nick to kind of try to be like, you're using, why are you not, having not the same expectations, but the same I can't think of the word right now, but it's like, he's saying that he's pretty much, not keeping things all else equal when comparing, when evaluating each team and what the expectations are. And I just think that's, a bad faith argument, because the Cowboys are clearly the Cowboys. Okay. And the Jets are, the Jets. And I grew up going to Jets games. I'm not hating on the Jets at all. Like, I've been to more Jets games than I've been to Eagles games.
The Lakers are LeBob.
Who are S-Bob? What are the teams that are S-Bob?
The Chiefs.
Yes. The Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
The
Eagles.
49ers.
Then, yeah, because recently.
49ers.
And the
not
Jets
Eagles.
are probably S-Bob.
The Jets,
all in.
The
Jets
Jets
are
are
not.
all in. Their
Look,
quarterback
hold
is
on. Let me
only
say
talked
something
about.
to the Jets.
Yeah, please.
One last point. You can go all in, and it doesn't mean Super Bowl or bust, from my viewpoint.
You should be thinking S-Bob. In your mind, you should be S-Bob, because your quarterback is 40. I'm looking at it from the outside saying there's no way they're getting to the Super Bowl. If looking at somebody, not a Jets fan, but looking at it, I say, you know what a good season would be if they get to the playoffs and win a game.
Yeah, one play.
That would be a good season. For them, though, they should be thinking Super Bowl or bust.
Well,
Reddick, Smith, they're right. That's how they should look at it.
And they clearly are. I mean, they are operating as, that's the point I was trying to get to. I know Brew's not a crazy person. He's not going to pick them to go to the Super Bowl. I wasn't trying to bait him into that. The point I was trying to make is they are operating as if they are.
But you think that's wrong?
I think it is foolish. I think it is poor team building. I think it is one of the reasons the Jets are the Jets, is because they operate as if they are in a world they're not in, and operating as if you're in that world prevents you from ever actually inhabiting that world. Operating as if we just get Aaron Rodgers, we can make a Super Bowl, while not acknowledging your head coach has proven nothing, and more importantly, you don't have a single starting offensive lineman other than AVT. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what Nick is saying, right? It's like, I think a good example of this is, it's like if you think you're an amazing player, whether it's football or basketball or whatever, and in your mind, you think you're great and everyone's telling you you're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing. And then you go out on the court with people who are clearly amazing and they just dominate you, right? And if you actually had a realistic expectation of who you were and the type of player you were, then you would be able to maybe learn, grow, get better, or just play in a league that is more fitting for you, so you can have more fun and not, get dominated and destroyed. And that's, in essence, that's kind of what Nick is trying to argue. But I just don't think that's a fair assessment, because they won 7 games with Zach Wilson. And he's saying that their coach has not proven anything. I'm not a huge fan of him as a head coach, but he did get that defense right, and he is a defensive head coach. So if you want to make the argument that, it's harder for defensive head coaches in the modern football era to make moves, I can understand that, but he's had no quarterbacks. Okay, he's had Zach Wilson his entire time there, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if he ever had God, I can never think of anyone's name in real time. Sam Darnold, I'm not sure if he did, or if he's only had Zach Wilson. And I don't know how much say he has over personnel, if that was his decision or what, or, I think he was probably put in a tough situation, because now they have Aaron Rodgers, and this was that, last year was going to be the year, and then he got injured. It's just bad luck. It just happened. It's unfortunate. And I think the expectations last season were more of a true Super Bowl or bust. Or it was like, we have this next couple years, is the way I looked at it. When Aaron came, I looked at it as you had this 2-year window of Super Bowl or bust. But the reality is that he got injured. And so that now kind of gets changed and pushed back, because you are technically subtracting one of his successful years from him, since he is a year older and a year removed from playing football. And again, even though I believe he's going to make a full recovery from the Achilles, he is still a year younger and a year of not playing football. But make no mistake about it, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. The dude hasn't forgotten how to play football, and he knows how to win. So I don't know. I know it's been kind of, in vogue, so to speak, to slander Aaron Rodgers as of late, which I get, politically people don't like him, and he's done things in the past that I can't exactly say I appreciate. But, and I'm not like some Aaron Rodgers mega fan, but I do try my best to be consistent, which is not always easy when you're making content like this, because my opinion changes all the time. I talk about this all the time, that my opinion changes. My opinion can change video to video. I can watch a video like this and say, yeah, you know what? Aaron Rodgers and the Jets really should have a chance at winning the Super Bowl. And then I watch another video and I'm like, you know what, actually, this really changed my mind. I don't think that at all. I think the Jets are complete scrubs and have no chance at all. They're a disaster. My opinion changes all the time, but I try to at least be consistent about why I'm reaching certain conclusions. And again, I started this video off by saying how, talking about Nick Wright's whole thesis about why the Chicago Bears are going to be better because of Caleb Williams, and that alone is worth 3 wins. So then why is he not being consistent with the Jets if they were able to win 7 wins with effectively no quarterback, a quarterback that looked so scared to be there that I genuinely felt bad for him. That you think that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be better? Even 85% Aaron Rodgers? You don't think an 85% Aaron Rodgers is better than a 100% Zach Wilson? That is just, I don't know what to tell you at that point. I really don't. I mean, I'm not telling you that Aaron Rodgers is going to be, Patrick Mahomes this season, or even close to that, or that he's going to be even the prime Aaron Rodgers. But what are we talking about? Aaron Rodgers is a true bona fide elite talent. If you want to talk about him coming up small in other games, that's fine. But that's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is to recognize that Aaron Rodgers is clearly an elite talent, even when he's not 100% and even when he's older, okay? Tom Brady is still better than probably 15 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and I really believe that. I really, really do. Can his body handle the hits and the contact and stuff? Probably not, but in terms of if no one hit him at all, I believe it. I really believe it. His pre-snap reads and the throws and his accuracy and his arm and all of that, I still believe that he would be better. He's better than probably 15 or so quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I really do believe that. And I think Aaron Rodgers is still up there, and I just think that the Jets will obviously be better. I think that Aaron Rodgers is worth 3 wins. And so you have to at least put the Jets at least a 10-win team if they stay healthy. That's the caveat, if they stay healthy, which is a pretty big caveat, which I totally admit. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think would be considered a successful season for the Jets? And do you think the Jets can actually be a legitimate threat this coming season? Let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.